Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, the Mavineeka Life and Travel Vlogs. The last time we were discussing how I was able to land a job in New Zealand with a Kiwi experience, or if you are overqualified. So with that, or I was able to land a job in New Zealand, but it's actually a 360-degree turn from because way back in our country, my job is more of a technical thing, working in the government in terms of the monitoring and evaluation. And now, working in a retail environment. Wow. So, how can it be? Paano nangyari yon? But then, I was thinking, working in a retail, I think, is one of the most exciting job that we can have. Why? The reason for that is you will be able to be meeting different types of people, different walks of life, different nationalities, especially if you're in a working in a retail, and also working with your colleagues who are not Filipinos, who are not the same as my values and my culture. So it's actually a challenge, and as I've said, it's a 360-degree turn. But in the retail, I've learned so much, not just wearing the hat of a salesperson, but also wearing the hat of a trainer, an operation manager, and a sales manager. Oh my, so that's four hats I'm wearing in a day. So how can it be wearing four hats in a day? Well, this is the reason for that. In a day, if you're working, my main job is to actually sell something to customer, right? So as a salesperson, but then I also have to think about my colleagues. As an assistant store manager, I also have to train my colleagues, coach them, mentor them so that they can actually achieve their targets or their key performance indicator. Well, indicator. In this case, in the retail environment, we have three major key performance indicator that we have to look into, like the average basket, the size of the average basket, the unit per transaction, and then the transaction per hour. And so those are the major. But we also have to look into, well, as in general, like how much sales do we make in a day, and then do we have the um, enough stocks, the inventory, the merchandising, well, the visual merchandising, which I also learned, and so many other things. So with that, wearing different hats in a day makes me more challenged to do different tasks. So, for example, as a trainer, you need to ensure that when you're in the shop floor, that you also have to make sure that you're observing your colleagues or the sales team members if they are actually doing well with the customers. So you need to know what they are telling or how they are telling something to the customers, how they are selling, in what way are they like chatting with customers, are they offering the right thing or the right stuff based on the customer needs. So it's actually what we're doing and guiding them. And the usual thing is to do like a role play. Role play meaning you have to practice them on what to say, what to tell to the customers. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And then wearing the hat of an operation manager, meaning you also have to make sure that you have everything available, like you have the stocks, you have the merchandise, or do you have enough people to to serve during the day, or um, what are the needs of the store, or like rostering schedules of stuff, or maybe preparing um, payroll, which is actually part of the role of the manager. But I need also to know, because my role is to actually be prepared for the next um, role, which is being a store manager. So I need to know everything that we're doing in the store. And also wearing the hat of a sales manager. If you're a sales manager, you need to be the forefront of the store, meaning you should be doing well, um, or you should be the one doing, you know, a very uh, not usual sales, meaning you're doing it really good in terms of the sales compared to the team members. So you should be in the forefront and you should be selling more and getting more money. So yeah, balancing those four hats will be difficult, but then it's a challenging job. So working in the retail for me um, enables someone to be prepared if they want to work in another industry, or maybe if they want to familiarize the culture of the people, or if they want to, you know, test themselves if they can really could do something different, push themselves, and in terms of customer service, and in terms of achieving targets or KPIs. So those are the things. In an office environment, you are always talking to same people most of the time, not unless you're going out of the the four walls of the building, something like that. Unlike when you're in the retail, every day you will meet different um, faces, new faces, exciting stories they bring to your store. Of course, you need to ask them and to engage them to talking so that you will know their stories and you know what they need, so that you can solve their problem or offer them the most appropriate item for their solution, or a solution to their needs or problems. And so yeah, but in terms of doing multitask, it's the same. You have to multitask. In an office environment, you need to do one job, or maybe two tasks in a time, or three tasks in a time, just like when you're in a retail. So multitasking. One also of the most challenging times when you're in a retail is when the foot traffic is very low. So you'll be bored, and then what I think the best possible thing to do is to motivate yourself. Self motivation is really important, because not all of the time there is like a high traffic, a high number of people who's coming to your store. So it's not all the time. So you need to be um, patient. You need to always motivate yourself. You need to always look for something to do. Things like in the operation, or maybe doing some inventory, or maybe doing visual merchandising, redoing it. So just to keep yourself busy. Because if you have so much customer, you don't have the time to do it. And then thing that is really different when you're working in the Philippines and you're working here in New Zealand, in our country we have the janitors, we have people, or maintenance people who can actually clean our surroundings or our office for us, our tables. somebody's doing that for us, cleaning the toilet or cleaning in the retail, especially in New Zealand. In our case, we're the one cleaning our store, but of course not the toilet because we're located in the mall, and so there's a a maintenance or a janitor doing that. But in an office environment, you you're actually um free or not to do that, especially in our country. But I think also here in New Zealand, you need also to do that. I once have my what you call this volunteering job, and I was able to experience the Kiwi way of in an office environment. And I noticed that they also have to do everything from cleaning, from answering phone calls, and making sure that everything is okay, and we don't actually um, rely on other people. We have to do it ourselves, and so I think that's the difference. And also, well, in terms of going to the office or going to your work here in New Zealand, here it's more accessible in terms of the transportation because we have like train, we also have buses, Uber, taxis, and it's unlike in our country that it's so traffic, and when you ride a bus, para kayong sardinas. But here, no, you actually have the chance always to sit down and just relax. Not unless, just like this past few weeks, Auckland Transport actually are in the process of repairing the railways. And so we have to take a bus replacement. And so if it's a rush hour, yeah, it's like in our country. I mean, if you're into like 5 o'clock, be ready to, parang makipagsiksikan din. But it's not really the usual, the normal thing. It's very unusual. It's because there's no train service, and most of the people don't drive their cars to like going to work because if it's too far for them, or maybe if they want to save the fuel or to save energy or to save parking fee, so they have to take the public transport. So yun po the difference. Mas ano siya dito, you can actually go home on time, but yeah, exceptional lang po itong season na to because of the ongoing repair works of the Auckland Transport. Yan. So, ano pa ba ang difference? In terms of stress, is this is working here stressful compared to our country? I can say, well, yeah, partly it's stressful as well, but it's manageable. I mean, it's really up to you if you want to be stressed. Because people tend to not want to be want to get stressed here, or sometimes there are stressors, but it's really up to you. Pero unlike in our country, because of the so many requirements from different government agencies, from the high ranking officials, or maybe from your bosses, so it's stressful, and also you have to yung demands ng public or ng mga stakeholders. Dito, stress from customers if they're not happy, or stress from colleagues, especially kung nakakainis yung mga kasama mo, or may boss ka na nakakainis din. So, yeah, but it's always dependent on the way you see them. So, pwede namang hindi ka ma-stress, nasa sayo na lang. So, for me, that's something, different. And then, salary, well, syempre dito, we're spending dollars in our daily life. like rent, food, transport, and everything. So dollar. But if you spend that back in your country, of course, mas malaki yung kita if you're earning dollars. And in terms of tenure or yung security ng work, well, if you're hired as permanent staff or a full-time staff, okay naman siya. Basta lang make sure na yung performance mo is okay doon sa standards that you need to um, comply with. Unlike pag part-timer ka, so mas lesser yung time mo, like um, maybe 24 hours in a week or like that, 20 hours a week. But if you're a full-time worker, sa 40 hours a week naman din siya. So, yun. But then, yun nga, medyo stressful din kasi especially during Christmas season, that the mall tends to be much busier. So, merong late night siya. So, meron siyang until 12, until 10 in the evening. Or 9. So, yun. So, medyo yun lang. Pero, hindi naman siya gano'ng katagal. For like a week or two lang siya. And you don't have to be working all the time kasi may mga schedules naman. So, it should be balanced as well. Yeah. So, okay naman siya. So, I think marami pa sigurong difference. So, maybe if you have something in mind, you can also comment. You comment na lang. And then, we will talk about it after. And then, yeah. So, although, in general, I think the life is better here. But of course, since nandun lahat ng friends mo, ng family mo, back in their country, so, syempre, mas masaya ka pa rin doon. Pero kung maging kontento ka na lang din, and focus lang sa work, I think here will be a nice place. And of course, as to the pandemic, the government is really working hard for it. So, napakagaling ng Prime Minister dito. So, hindi kami masyadong nahirapan during pandemic kasi may mga measures sila na talaga namang effective. Like at this point, we are open, the border is open for the people to come here from the Cook Island without quarantine. So, travel bubble siya. So, originally, New Zealand was looking into a travel bubble ng Australia. Pero, because of the pandemic, hindi siya natuloy. And so, isa sa mga options nila, actually, isa din sa plan nila, is to open it to the people from the Cook Island. And so, yeah. So, yesterday was the first time for people from there to land here in New Zealand without quarantine. So, nakakatuwa naman. So, they're free to visit the country and then go back to their country afterwards. So, yun. Maayos naman ang palakad. And then, still we're wearing face masks when we have to ride public transport. Like buses, trains, taxis, pero option mo na lang siya if you want to wear that. But I do, and also in the airlines or, when you ride a plane. So, yun po. So, ganun siya. So, yun yung mga, dito. So, baga, kung titingnan natin what is really the difference between working in our country, in the Philippines, and working here. But of course, we also have to consider what kind of job. So, mas maraming, siguro, people working in the retail. Why? It's because I think hindi siya masyadong maraming requirement compare if you work in an office. But then, the only requirement I can say na kailangan meron ka is that you can actually communicate, you can actually influence people to buy your product. So, if you have that and you have that potential, well, it's easy for you to land for a job. So, ganun siya. So yun. So next time, if you want more topics to be discussed, kindly comment na lang dito sa video na to, and then subscribe na din para naman lagi tayong updated, o lagi kayong updated sa mga new videos and yeah, mga videos na ipapalabas ko. So maraming salamat for watching. Keep safe everyone, and see you soon. God bless.